Debt, a daily decision. Today we're talking about money, again. However, it is not about money that we owe back to God. It is money that we owe back to people or institutions. What is the nature of debt? How to manage a life where money is not enough? These are only some of the questions we're asking in this lesson.
And it's not just about money. It's more about attitude and mentality. It's about being conscious, being respectful, being correct and honest in our dealings. The memory verse is an advice from Paul, and it's not about not owing, but about not remaining in debt, other than the debt of love.
First of all, can we, citizens of 21st century, live and manage our life without any debt? My honest answer is that this is highly unlikely possible. And of course, I'm not saying that it's impossible. After all, it depends on each and everyone's individual situation. It's highly impossible for me to buy a house or even a car without borrowing money. Can you live in today's society without a shelter or even without a vehicle? And again, my answer is honestly, that is very highly unlikely. So sooner or later, we end up borrowing money for a good cause. The question is, and this is what's important, how do we spend this money and how do we pay back that money?
Sometimes people develop amazing arguments for why not to pay or repay. And they sound convincing to them. We may feel justified for not repaying, but it is wrong. When we borrow something, it becomes even more valuable than if it was our own. It's a great responsibility. The lesson focuses on Elisha and the prophets when the iron axe head fell in the water. And while some may think, well, it wasn't mine, the prophet cried out, "Oh no, my Lord, it was borrowed." It's a mentality that makes a difference.
The lesson continues and points out that we can become masters of God's money. Or, on the contrary, we can be mastered by the world's money instead. Is there any spiritual danger there? Of course there is. It's called instant gratification, which means that this is a temptation to borrow and spend money beyond what we can afford to pay back. So, if you borrow, you better spend it wisely.
Esau sold his birthright for a stew. But we are not better. We want and need here and now. I know this feeling so badly. This is why we are so easy to manipulate. If I don't eat for a day, I will do anything. If I'm alive after 40 days, I will be seeing food everywhere. But Jesus, he was tempted, but he didn't give up on his principles. He didn't sacrifice his integrity. We may struggle, but if we want it, he can help us to be the same.
The Bible carries a very simple but important principle which, if adopted by the people in this world, there will be much less problems. The principle of contentment. Jesus was a great example of it, and Paul and all the apostles. And this principle is strongly applicable when it comes to financial dealings, that we live within our means. The principle of contentment. Some people feel very strongly restricted by it. However, we should understand it in the context of the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Seek his kingdom and his righteousness first, and all the things will be given to you as well. Being content does not mean that we would not push, we would not expand our reach and our potential, and we will not strive for more and for better. It means that we should be governed by Jesus' principle, which is having his kingdom first and then everything else.
The author says, we should think of our means not as income, but as resources that we have a responsibility to manage. A budget is the method we should use to accomplish this task. Some may say it's too hard. It's not. Sure, we have to learn, but it's about responsibility.
So, should we say undeniable no to debt? You decide for yourselves. The Bible discourages borrowing money if possible. Why? Because we find it difficult to manage and finalize debt. According to Proverbs 22:7, it says that as much as it is true that the rich rule over the poor, that much is true that the borrower is a slave to his lender. Proper financial managing and wise spending can only propel us to a better well-being, but also to a better spiritual experience in spreading the gospel. It is not immoral to borrow, but it can lead us on the fast track to immorality. So stay sober, be wise, and God is always there to lead you.
There are people from whom you should never take loans. You can never get out. It's a very painful experience to learn. In the same time, I came to Canada with very little means, and would have been impossible for me to develop professionally or to build a business without the opportunity to borrow. The lesson is about debt, a daily decision, and it is a daily decision. It depends, but what is key is the right mentality, accountability, respect, responsibility, and about looking into the future. Prepare, save, invest. Am I building? Do I need help to get out of an unfortunate situation? Where do I want to be tomorrow? This is stewardship and proper management.
We are approaching the end of this quarterly study, and next week we're looking at the title, The Habits of a Steward.